Why did it take someone this long to make this rifle? For some of you, you might be looking at this going, well, what is this, Jonathan? And for some of you who played CSGO, this is the Steyr Scout. Scouts and knives, baby. And we're gonna be looking at it, Modify made it, and we're gonna be diving into why it took so long for this to come out. There's a lot going on here that I had no idea about. There's a darn good reason why this thing took forever to come out and why nobody made it until now. And it's not just because of the licensing. I mean, the licensing is through ASG, they own the license for Steyr. Modify put the work in to really make this thing. And Modify's really made quite a bit of effort on this. And I have to say, spoiler alert for this video, I'll dive into exactly why I think this. So stay tuned. This is probably one of the best looking sniper rifles in Airsoft today. So let's start with the outside. We'll go into what things work. I'll just give you the first hint. The stock alone that you see here, now it does come in two versions. Comes in this wonderful two-tone gray, which I kind of am partial to, but if you're more of a purist, you can go with the solid black version. Regardless of the version you pick, 8 different textures. They have 8 different textures on the stock alone to match the real one. So they worked hand in hand with ASG to get this thing right. Getting feedback from Steyr Arms, who makes the original one, the company out of Austria. They wanted to nail this thing and they did it the right way. So tip to toe, full metal outer barrel. They wanted something that was modular. So the cap on the end exposes the threading. So now you have some threading underneath here. You can put suppressors, whatever. They are coming out, for you wanna know, with suppressors on that. So you can add a can on the end of this. In fact, they've already done the teaser video of that. It's gonna be a fully modular system. In fact, they do have modular components for other parts of this. Metal barrel, it's kind of got this fluting, if you can see it there. Oh man, it's just really good. It's machined, you can tell it's been CNC'd. It looks really good. Moving on to the top rail. Since it is a scout rifle, they do have one notch here and here, so you could run a traditional scope on it. But if you wanna get a hold of the actual scout scope, which has a huge eye relief, right? So it's designed, the scope sits way up here. This is the back of the scope and this is the front of the scope. So when you're looking at it, you need long eye relief because otherwise you couldn't even see through the scope. Traditional scopes, your eye's gonna be very close to it. On the Scout, the scope is way out here. It'll work with both. So they do have the rail segments to run a scout scope here or the little notches if you wanna just run a standard scope on that. This top piece here is plastic up to this point, then it runs metal the rest of the upper. But, and I love this, something we didn't know. For those of us that played Counter-Strike, we didn't know this, that the Scout actually has iron sights. I mean, like legit, and the back one's a little tough, there we go. It has iron sights on it, so check this thing out. Look, we got like a little triangle post here and a ghost ring in the back, just like the real one. I never knew that. Like, I never dove into like the actual Scout. So if you wanna run this thing and like play CQB or have it effective and not have to put a scope on it, you can buy this platform and you've got iron sights that pretty much work. You can take close-up shots with this thing. You can adjust the power levels so it's not shooting so hard, and you can use the iron sights. That is super cool. So the back one you gotta flip up by hand, the front one pops up with this little groove here, and to put it back, you gotta pull the groove up and push it back down, but then if you wanna pop it out, it just pops up in place. So I'll put it back down there. You put them down, you get a nice, smooth, flat top on this. The safety, I love the safety, oh my gosh. So right now, it's ready to fire, it's in red. You roll this thing back, and then there's a little white thing. So basically it's a roller, and you try to roll it forward, it won't work. You have to push this white part in right here, right? So you push that white part in and it allows you to now start to roll it forward to where it's able to fire, roll it back, and it locks. You can't accidentally set it, but where it's located is right here. So you're thinking, oh, it's a lot of work, Jonathan, right? No, you take it, you press it, and you roll it. It's ready to fire right now, and now it's in safe. Ready to fire, safe. Super intuitive, like that's it. Like you don't even have to think about it. It's not like a two-step process. Where your thumb lands on it is natural to push down that little white springy button to allow it to go into fire. But if you accidentally bump it, you're running around, you have it in the safe zone, it's not something that's going to cause a problem. Again, the details on this. And oh yeah, speaking of details, check out the sling. So this is an extra piece. You can buy a bunch of them from them. 90-degree turn, it's like just, let's show it to you here, like that, right? You can kind of see it against my face, or let me just put my hand up there. There you go. So that's like your sling attachment points. The real sling for this is the 3-point sling. So you have a sling attachment point here. Oh, by the way, this rifle is pretty much all ambi because of the way it's set up. You have sling attachment points on either side. So here, and in the back, here, and there. So you pick up a couple of these. In fact, you'll need 3 of them if you want to do the 3-point sling like the real one is, or you can do a 2-point or whatever. You pick the sling point you want, you take it, you twist it 90 degrees, and it locks it in place, and then it's there. It's in. You want it out, you want to remove it? No problem. There you go. Twist it, it's out. So it springs in, twist, lock, and then it actually is able to move through the channel it has. Super cool. And probably the coolest thing we didn't know for all those who played Counter-Strike, this thing has a built-in bipod. Yeah, that's right, a built-in bipod. There's a button right here, and oh, by the way, this little rail groove is, if you want to put a traditional bipod on it, no problem, it can lock into this slot here, but the button right below it, you'll press it, right? And you hear that click, and now, wait, oh, look at that. It's got a built-in bipod. This thing is nuts. It's crazy, I never knew this. I mean, and all the time, because in Counter-Strike, you never deploy the bipod, so I never knew. And like I said, I've never had a chance to use one of these in the real world or see one for that matter. So it's just super cool to find out that there's an integrated bipod in this thing, which is just kind of neat the way it works. Again, another reason, well, somebody probably didn't make this already, because when they started doing the research, they realized, wow, this is gonna take a lot of work, it's gonna be really expensive, it's gonna be a lot of energy to build something with all of the integrated features of the actual Scout. And they want to, instead of shortcutting and not having these things like the flip up sights and the bipod. That said, there's also another reason you want to flip these things down. Oh, by the way, they kind of, it feels like you're going to break it, but you're not. It's really well made. You just want to pull it till it clicks and you can slide it and lock it back in. I'm going to leave it out because when it's out, you have access to the hop-up slider. So it has a fully adjustable slider right here. You can hear it. It's got the little clickies. You can hear it like go up and down the click, 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 click. So you can find your nice sweet spot and just dial it in. Oh yeah, by the way, are you righty? Are you lefty? It's ambi. It works on both. So all you have to do is flip down the side that you're wanting, so it locks in place. So if you need to make the adjustment, your hop-up's covered, so you don't accidentally bump it when you're playing. You press the button here, let me do with that, and then slide it open, adjusty, close it shut. Now it's safe and secure, no accidental bumps where it takes your hop-up out. So once you've dialed this thing in, you're good. Oh yeah, it'll hop up to 0.48 BBs. Yeah, and I'll talk more about the hop-up because if you look down this rail, there is this little bitty Allen key right here, this little hole. That is a pre-drilled, preset, ready to go top-down center adjustment. And I know people are like, oh, TDC, it's TDC ready. So you don't have to drill the hole. This hole is in the exact spot. So if you want to change the hop-up chamber out to go with a TDC version, top-down center, instead of using the slider, you can do it. And it's ready to go. They already thought it'd be like, okay, well, people are asking for top-down center. This is the hottest thing, it's the new thing, but people are having to mod their airsoft guns, like kind of guess the right exact spot to drill the hole. And if you get it a little off, then you messed it up and you got to buy new parts, or you drill multiple holes, it's terrible. They did it for you. It's ready to go, so you've got a top-down center adjustment as well as a slider, your choice. You can do it, ready to go. You can upgrade it. You can flat hop this thing, you can do whatever you want. They are thinking of it. Now, Modify, the Mod 24, that's kind of their baby. They made Novrich's SSG 24. That is, of course, probably one of the most well-known sniper rifles in the past 5 or so years. They took all the technology, put it in here and made it better. So now you've got all this stuff externally, but we're gonna finish the externals first, and then we're gonna talk about those internals because there's some cool stuff under the hood. Magazine, we got it right here. 32 rounds in this magazine. This magazine's interchangeable with, well, it's backwards compatible with the Mod 24, meaning you can put this magazine in the Mod 24, or I think also in the Novrich one. But those do not work in this. They made some changes because the air nozzle, this is the segue to internals, right? The air nozzle in this one is a larger diameter air nozzle, so they needed to put a little bit bigger of a gap here to make it work, but it will still work because it's larger. It'll work with the smaller air nozzles on the Mod 24 and the other ones. But to have that extra air volume and some of the things they're doing for consistency, stability, and air volume, they had to change the mag. So these are gonna be the newer mags they're gonna be releasing, and they are backwards compatible. So if you pick these up, they're gonna work in your Mod 24 or your SSG 24, but you'll need these specifically to go in here. Magazine goes in there. They've got it, locks in good. It springs out really well with just a little click, but it locks very well. That's where the actual mag goes. Here's the mag well on the real one. And here, to keep the sound down, they put a nice big block of foam. Also, you can put your tools in here because they decided like, well, we're just gonna have a cap here. They're like, no, let's add this dual purpose foam. This block of foam, like I said, helps with the sound deadening inside. So when you fire, it's a little less snappy. And also they did the sorbo pad. So they actually have a piston head in here that helps with the sound. And it's pretty impressive to help bring the sound down. But also this block helps with it. And you can put the tool you need for your top down center adjustment, just jam it right inside of this foam. And then you can always have it just right here. Oh wait, by the way, if people are on the internet going, oh, this thing's hard to get in, there's a trick actually. You just need to put it kind of forward first, and then you kind of roll it in. If you try to just put it straight in, it could be a little difficult. So it's kind of the front in and then kind of slide it in. Also, there's another mag back here. In fact, but this one's a little different. This is true proper mag storage. I have a spare mag I've already put in here. That is the spare mag. So you can put your spare mag kind of in there, you squeeze it, you lock it, and then you kind of put it here. We're gonna do the same thing. There you go. So now you have a second mag hiding back there, your first mag in the gun. So it gives you 64 rounds to work with, which is quite a bit when you're playing the role of the sniper. And if you want some extras, you can jam in your pocket or put them on your rig. All right, we're almost done with this, I promise. Adjustable butt pad has different links here. You can kind of see, to take these off, you literally have to pry it. I mean, absolutely pry it. They did think of that. There's actually some holes here, so you'll put a screwdriver in and just give it a good twist and it'll pop off and it will snap and lock in. As for licensing, they have the Steyr Arms logo there, Steyr Arms here with their logo, the Scout, the serial number, ASG licensing, caliber 6mm, and made in Taiwan, 100% there. So overall, that's pretty good. Also, the balance point on this is right here where my hand is. So it's pretty much balanced right over like the loading chamber of it. So a little bit in front of the trigger guard, but not too much. You can also do standard teardown. You have screws here on the bottom. Take it, you can separate the two components on that. No problem there. Whew. Okay, done with the externals. Let's get into the internals. Wow, have they gone and done some things. So inside, they've got a lot of parts going on here, but most notably, they actually have looked at the air volume. People are looking at using heavier BBs, wanting more stability with a heavier BB, and due to that, they've moved and made a change to the air volume of the cylinder. It's actually 12.5% larger air volume in the cylinder than it is in the Mod 24. So, and that's not just, it's like a bore up, it's also a little longer. So like by doing all of that, adding length to it, and that's why things are a little different, and adding size change to the air nozzle. The actual air brake piston head helps with the sound, and also, you know, that actually has a little bit of a braking effect, and they have different versions you can change out if you want to. You can check out the air brake piston head here. They've really done the internals. And if you know Modify, like I said, these are the guys making the not rich stuff. They're doing the Mod 24, Mod 24X. They have some really high-end stuff. They are the gold standard for sniper rifles. So to see them put this type of externals around that internal system, and oh yeah, also upgrade it to a new, better version because of the air volume, it's pretty nice. In here, they're also using a new Predator bucking with a new hop-up arm. So it's actually applying pressure. Now, I know some of you are gonna be critical about top-down centers, like it has to be direct pressure flat down, but what they've done is on their hop-up arm, the way they designed it, it does have a bit of an angle to it, right? It's gonna have some pressure, but to compensate for that, they've looked at the angle of how the pressure pad matches when you are engaging the BB, and they put a slight angle to it. So through their engineering, when you're actually putting that pressure down, even if you're doing top-down adjustment, top-down center adjustment, and you're putting pressure, it's actually, instead of it coming at an angle, because where the pressure point matches, they flattened it out. And during that thing, it's like less than a fraction of a degree of difference from like top to bottom, all the way hop up off to up on too much where you can't even feed the BB. that you're getting a consistent flat top-down center effect, even with the arm. But if you want to do top to center, you can totally do it. It makes it easier for adjustments. Basically, the way they did it was you have the slider arm for coarse adjustments, but for those of you who are a precision sniper, you want to run that bigger spring, that .48 BB in here if you want to go that high, or at least in the 4s, you have that super fine tunable adjustment where you can just slightly tune and turn everything just right. That gives you both options. They're thinking of the player, they're thinking ahead, and it gives you both. So if you just want some coarseness, you're not taking those like super precision shots at like near 100 meters, then you're fine. But if you wanna try to get those crazy long shots you see on YouTube, TDC is the way to go, and they already have all the parts inside ready for you with just some minor small things to change. Overall, this thing's really good. It's a blessing to shoot. Sound-wise, it's pretty interesting. Like, so this one has a 140 spring in it, right? All right, so here we got this. Look at that, how easy it is to pull back. That's so easy. And then that's quiet. For a 140, there's no crack, there's no that weird gong sound you sometimes hear and you have heard on other systems. That's because of the air brake piston they put in here. The air volume, I think kind of helps as well, the cylinder. There's a lot going on just, and again, I'm dry firing, there's no BBs in here. That's nice. Trigger goes straight back too, so there's no like angle to it. It's a straight back pull on the trigger, which makes it nice to get those precision shots. What's also cool, when I had a chance to go to the factory to pick this thing up, I got to see how they do the testing on this. And they've got this special air seal tool that they put here at the end. And a lot of people do the finger test, right? They're like, oh, I hold the finger and I wanna make sure it'll hold the air. So I pull, make sure there's no mag in here, no BBs. You fire it and you hold on to make sure there's no air escaping. Well, they actually designed their own special tool to check for that. So every single one of these before they leave the factory is tested by the same guy who's like the tool expert when it comes to air seal and actually checks the air seal. So every one of these has perfect air seal when it leaves the factory. So when you get it, you pull the trigger, you're getting all the power out of this rifle. Nothing's escaping, nothing's leaking, nothing's out there. And that's like pretty impressive considering that it's a fully closed system. So this thing is 100% air seal when dry firing, which is pretty darn cool that they go to the level to check every single one, not just by finger test, but with an actual measurable tool. I gotta say, this is probably one of the first airsoft guns I've held in my hand in a long time. This really impressed me to a new level. I mean, I'm kind of jaded, I've done like 600 plus product reviews on this channel. So I kind of, seen it all and I know what to expect from a lot of companies. I'm like, okay, they've innovated, they're really at their top of their game, they're making good stuff. Then Modify comes out and they're like, we're gonna step it up one. We're gonna go one higher on that one. And then they do it with something that's brand new to the market, something that it's like bubbling with nostalgia because of Counter-Strike, right? Because this is like back to my younger days, my childhood gaming, right? Like I just played the heck out of some Counter-Strike and I love Scouts and Knives. And it just lets me now take it out to the airsoft field and do it and have pretty much a pre-upgraded rifle ready to go out of the box. It's just amazing. Of course, power levels will be different depending on the country you're gonna be buying these from. Also, if you're interested in pricing, I'd say a big shout out to WGC Shop in Hong Kong for helping arrange getting all of this. I'll have a link over to those guys where you can pick it up there, the official distributor for all of Asia. So you'll see the current pricing they have over there. If you wanna pick one up, I think they do ship worldwide. So you'll be able to order from there and ship globally. So if you're looking to grab one of these, you can pick it up there. For me, I'm excited to take this thing out. Fields aren't open. Once they are, I'm gonna break my dry spell and I'm totally gonna be running this thing at a game. I'm gonna try to do some Scouts and Knives on my own and see if I can get some knife kills and get some Scout shots as well. I may have to tune this one down though if I'm gonna play at some of the indoor fields around here. But I'm curious, do you have a soft spot for this? Do you want one of these? Were you surprised it has iron sights and a built-in bipod like I was? Or extra mag in the back? Like, lots going on here. Anyway, let me know in the comment section below what your most surprising feature of this rifle was. If you like what you saw here, drop one of these on the video below. I'd love to have it. Also, if you want to see more reviews like this or Q&A videos where I help answer your airsoft questions, hit the sub button. Love to have you as part of the Airsoftology family. So until next time, go out, play some airsoft, have some fun, but no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.